Hi there. In an effort to show off my sound design skills and creative process a little bit better, and especially with new content, I naturally asked myself the question of what should I do next? And landed on the idea of making sounds for some of my favorite games in the past decade, Doom and Doom Eternal. My target was pretty straightforward. Do my own sound design for glory kills. So, naturally, I must ask myself what sounds comprise a glory kill. I wrote this list as a starting point for my process. 1. Punching slash roughhousing sounds. I would like to get the sound of myself punching a heavy bag as a sample for that, though I would have to record that sound at a gym as I don't own a heavy bag. So there's a chance I would end up punching like an instrument case or a couch instead. Something that would give me a thick collision noise. Blade sounds. In Doom Eternal, the Doom Slayer has a blade on his left forearm, which is used in many of the animations. And you can definitely hear that blade as it cuts through flesh and shimmers a little bit. 3. Bone-breaking sounds. Perhaps the most obvious sounds are the bone-crunching sounds. I went out and bought a rotisserie chicken, as well as some raw turkey wings, and figured I would just go to town with those and have a microphone set up. Which brings me to a similar component for flesh squelching sounds. Intending to get those in the same way, though I also stopped by the dollar store and picked up some slime and putty that could end up incorporated in the mix. My original plan for this video involved doing the sound design for multiple glory kills, but due to time constraints of only being able to do this outside of my other work, I only had time to do one. A predator kill. That being said, I did still capture all the other audio, and it was just a wildly fun process of experimenting with what worked and what didn't and having fun. For the sounds I did use, it was a relatively simple process of basic modifications to get them where I wanted. Starting with the bone crunching sounds, I added a lot of depth and high end by adding 2 parallel tracks with up and down pitch shifting and respective EQ treatments, all summing into the final sound. I realized as I was superimposing these sounds over the video that even if it was sounding pretty good, there seemed to be a lot missing. There's a distorted synthesizer that momentarily plays to add intensity to the animation, and I needed that. So starting with some very low frequency signal generation, I added parallel processing of a distortion send and a second distortion send with a pitch shift to add some highs and mids. While I was at it, I figured I might as well do the VO for the scream of the predator as it dies. I happen to be pretty decent with metal style vocals, so it was just a quick performance with some reverb in parallel. I also decided it needed music. I added that in as an excerpt from a piece called Doom Eternal, which you can find on this channel. It's in the background, just as a quick solution to fill out that extra sonic space. All that's really left is the process of arranging the sounds in an order and time that fits well with the footage. I did all that in my Blender project so that I could easily make sure that it all lined up nicely with the video footage. That's really all there is to go over. Let's see how it turned out, and you'll also see how the different layers turned out too, like without music, etc. all around, I think that turned out really great. There are a few things I would like to improve if I had more time. Number one being the bone crunching and squelches, you can tell are all pan center, just mono. And I feel like there's a lot more depth in the in-game audio, a little bit more stereo play. I did add some stereo play with the the synth distortion womp to add intensity because I wanted to add a little bit more width to the overall presentation. But I in the future would probably add more width to the overall sound and just do some imbalanced stereo EQ probably to the bone crunching and squelches and maybe the scream too. Um, Other than that, aside from mixing, maybe could be slightly better. I'm really happy with it. Um, so that was a really fun project. I got to mess around with some really fun live audio capturing. Hopefully, I'm gonna do a bit more fun stuff like that. Probably not quite as gross, but hopefully, some of my next videos will include playing with some toys to create some cool sounds. But until then, see you next time.